Hi, everybody. Reporting from the Linfield Sports Network studio, I'm Kevin Nelson with the head coach of the Linfield Wildcats, Joseph Smith. And, coach, your team falls to Mary Hardin-Baylor. Now 1-1 on the season, 24-3 the final score there against the Crew. A really tough matchup against one of the best defenses you guys will see all season long, maybe the best defense in the country. But the game really started out tough after offensive possession that started to look like it was getting to go. I had to punt the football, and then T.J. Josie on his first carry, a read option, he goes 74 yards.
Yeah, that's quite a turn of events. I think we had a field goal attempt that we missed, but I was real pleased with how our team came out, ready to play, and they're very excited to play a team of that magnitude. There's no question that they're the most talented team in the country, and we knew that going in, and I thought our guys played honestly quite well against that in terms of the physicality and the speed of the game is just such a different level. It's a completely different feeling, like a completely different game. And I liked our start. Thought we played well that first series, as you mentioned, and would have liked to have hit that. And then that mistake we made in allowing that long run, that was a good change of momentum.
Yeah, right off the get-go, UMHB strikes first with that play. And this game really came down to three big plays. The touchdown by Josie, the return by Wilkerson, and then the late passing touchdown from 35 yards out. You take those out, your defense held up pretty well. Looking at the numbers here, held Mary Hardin-Baylor to 5 of 12 on third down, had a fourth down stop and 3 sacks against that big offensive line. You got to be happy with the way the defense played as a whole.
Absolutely. We knew that our defense was going to hold them down in points. I mean, I think we were pretty confident that we could keep it to a couple touchdown game. I really thought it'd be a 14-12 kind of day, and it should have been. That's what it was. We made a terrible mistake on the kickoff coverage. That was, in my mind, the pivotal play of the game, of course, that really changed it. I felt coming out of halftime, it's a one-score game, and we're going to find a way to be opportunistic and get a short field, and really just needed to hit one or two passes, and we would have had that touchdown that we were looking for, and we just weren't able to do that. But our defense kept us in the game, kept it close, and just really proud of how those guys played. A very physical offensive line, as you mentioned, and we certainly owned the line of scrimmage, and I know frustrated them greatly. That was a very frustrated offensive unit that they had. So I think that anytime our defense plays well, you're going to be in the game and keep it close. You just can't have miscues on special teams, and then you have to be able to find a way to score.
You flip sides now, the other side of the ball. Your offense struggled to keep drives alive. It seemed like 3 of 14, I believe, on third down, and Troy Fowler just missing a couple of those deep balls. If he connects on one of those, you get the ball in the red zone and have a chance to strike.
Yeah.
I just could never get in a rhythm, though.
Yeah, it's tough. I think we knew that was going to be the style of game it was versus them. Nobody sustains drives on that defense. It's just too good. And we've never seen a defense like that. I thought they're even better this year than last in terms of particularly their secondary. The physicality and speed in the back row is something I just haven't seen from an entire unit, and their backups that just close the windows so fast. And what looked like maybe going to be a decent gain is a 5-yard gain, and just with the speed that they close, and we just did not block well on the perimeter, and a lot of that was just some physical matchups that we lost. And then when that D-line decided to pass rush, we just really couldn't keep them out when they pinned their ears back, and so a couple times we did have some open receivers, but we got sacked, and then more than not, we just were not able to find open guys, and you don't want to get in third and long on that team.
Right.
It's not going to be a good day.
You stayed committed to the run, ran the ball 29 times. The problem was only for 34 yards, and with 5 different backs, I think, between the 2 quarterbacks as well, as opposed to a week ago against Chapman where you found Dawson Rule, Chibum Noli. Those guys really started to get going. What was kind of the strategy behind that? And, I mean, obviously you want to keep both options open, the run and the pass game.
Yeah, I mean, I just did not want to get into third and long, and yet we found ourselves in third and long a lot. So that's maybe the worst team that we've ever faced over the years. The last few times we've played them to be in third and long against, they just are too good on that down. So desperately trying to find a way to run the ball and make third down manageable. Well, then we're able to convert those. But it's a tough day.
not often mentionable is the punter, but Colton Ramos for the second week in a row, he's looked really good. The kid from McMinnville, 40 yards on his punts again this week, and kicking to a guy like Bryce Wilkerson, you thought, man, this is going to be a tough day. He went right after him, kicking it, and his coverage did great getting downfield. Talk about Ramos and what he brings in flipping the field position.
Yeah, Colton Ramos is doing a great job. He's I'm really pleased with him. He's a young man I've obviously watched growing up and had the fortune to coach, in youth sports, and so it's fun to see him performing like I really thought he'd be capable of. He's got a live leg and he's very athletic, so I think he can be very good and is doing well. If he can just keep it up, that's good enough, but I think he can even do better. So I thought he kicked extremely well. I thought our snaps were spot on. I thought our protection was fantastic, which all allows a punter to be comfortable. If you're not comfortable, you're not going to punt well. So I thought our protection and coverage was fantastic to go along with those punts.
You're in a bye week now, kind of a good time for that after the loss at home. And then you take on Whitworth, suddenly rising in the top 25 poll. They're up to 15, I believe, now for your first Northwest Conference game. Talk about that matchup and what you see coming at you in 2 weeks.
Sure. There's kind of two polls in Division III. There's the coaches poll, which is maybe the most politically biased poll of all time, and then there's the D3 poll, which I think is pretty accurate, and so I think they're 15 in that one. And they're good. I mean, they haven't suddenly risen. They've been there. They just haven't been able to beat us, and their quarterback made some comment about doesn't care what they do, they just want to beat us. So I mean, we fully know that it's going to be a tremendous challenge, and they're a great football team, very well coached. I love what they do schematically on both sides. Tremendous coaching staff, tons of talent. They're as good an offensive unit as we've seen in a long time, and they'll give our defense, everything they can handle. So it won't be a 14-12 kind of game, I don't think. I think the offense that they have is just too good for that.
Don't want to miss that game. That's in a couple of weeks. They're on the 30th at the Cat Dome. Be sure to catch that one for the first Northwest Conference action of the season, and students pick up one of these limited edition Dutch Bros hats for the first 350 students, like they did last week with the T-shirts. For Coach Smith, I'm Kevin Nelson. Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.